Welcome to Cortex Helicopter Explainer, where we are now looking at crimes. You have seen Mr. Omari as a lawyer always in a suit in court. But today, I'm in a sports gear. Just symbolic that the message that is going to come from Court Helicopter is that run away from crime. Crime is such an expensive thing. You either wear your running shoes, you take your jeans off, you take your suit off, keep off crime. The Penal Code, Cap 63, Chapter 63 of the Penal Code. You have seen very many people arrested. Do you know what the Penal Code is all about? Do you know what is called the criminal law? We shall be doing an episode of over 20 episodes teaching you what the criminal law is all about. We have just finished about the anti-narcotics drug. Remember, the criminal law is segmented on very many statutes. After the drugs law, we are now on the penal code. After the penal code, we shall deal with the EACC, the Ethics Anti-Corruption Act. What are offences of corruption? After that, we shall be moving to the Sexual Offences Act. What are the laws? What crimes constitute the Sexual Offences Act? Then we shall also be moving to other specialized offences like the Organized Crimes Act. What is that law? So, Court Helicopter starts now digging in one by one on the laws that deal with crime. The first one is the Penal Code, Chapter 63, and we start with Section 40. Have you ever imagined killing the President of the Republic of Kenya? Have you ever imagined overthrowing the President of the Republic of Kenya? Remember when we did the constitutional episodes, we told you you cannot form a government in Kenya outside the provisions of the Constitution. Go, get your vote, register, vote for your president in 2027, but you cannot kill the President of the Republic of Kenya. What about imagining? In your dreams, if you dream that you are killing the President of Kenya, do you know it's a crime to imagine and compass the death of the killing of the President of Kenya? The offense of treason. Any person who owing allegiance to the Republic of Kenya, in Kenya or elsewhere, that offense you can commit it here or elsewhere. One, compasses, imagines, invents, devises, or intends. That is, you imagine, you purpose, you intend, you create, you plan. What? The death, maiming, or wounding, or the imprisonment or restraint of the president. If you compass, if you imagine, if you plan to kill the president, leave alone killing, if you intend to detain the President of the Republic of Kenya, it's not about William Ruto. It is about the President of Kenya. If you detain the President of Kenya, he comes to your county, then you block the motorcade with a view of detaining the President of the Republic of Kenya. If you intend to kill the President of the Republic of Kenya. Two, if you intend to dispose by unlawful means of the President from his position as President or from the style, honor, and name of Head of State and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Kenya. So if you plan a coup to overthrow the President of the Republic of Kenya, the Gen Zs now you know it. You cannot overthrow the President of the Republic of Kenya unless you vote him out. Once a president has been installed as the commander-in-chief, he only exits his position by virtue of an election. That is what the Constitution says. Free. If you imagine or intend to overthrow by unlawful means of the government of the Republic of Kenya, leave alone the president, the government of the Republic of Kenya, what will be the consequences? 2, if you express, utter, or declare any such compassing imaginations, inventions, devices, or intention by publishing any printing or writing by or overt act or deed, publishing. Very many Kenyans were mad that people were arrested because they had gotten the portrait of the president and put him in a coffin. Now you know that is the law. You cannot publish your imaginations of the death of the president of the Republic of Kenya. You cannot imagine putting the name of another person as the president of the Republic of Kenya in your Facebook, on your social media, on your Instagram. Wow. That is the law. Were you aware? All those ingredients I've told you, he says is guilty of an offense of treason. Any of those ingredients that we have said. 2, if you are a citizen of the Republic of Kenya and you levy war in Kenya against the Republic, you are a citizen of Kenya. You go to Uganda, join the Ugandan government to fight Kenya. You go to Tanzania, you join the Tanzanian forces to fight Kenya. 2, any person who owing allegiance is adherent to the enemies of the Republic of Kenya or gives them aid or comfort in Kenya or elsewhere. If we are fighting with Somalia, we are fighting with Tanzania, we are fighting with Djibouti, those foreign enemies, you come and give them food. You come and give them accommodation. You come and assist them. They ask you which is the road heading to State House. You show them. It looks a simple thing. One has been shot by the Kenyan army. He runs to your house. You give him water. You give him a place to hide. Because you are a Christian. Because you are a Muslim. Any form of support to a foreign invading army constitutes treason. It goes on to say, if you instigate, whether in Kenya or elsewhere, any person to invade Kenya with an armed force, if you are elsewhere in other countries and you are instigating other people to invade Kenya with armed forces, my friend, it is the way it is. What does the law say? You are guilty of an offense of treason. What is the sentence? Section 40, subsection 3, gives the sentence with those issues against the president. Any person who is guilty of the offense of treason shall be sentenced to death. There is no any other punishment provided for the offense of treason. Now you know it. Whenever you are demonstrating, whenever you are planning, if you are planning the death of the president, overthrow of the president, whether you like the president or not, Court Helicopter is not pro any president, but Court Helicopter brings you the law as it is. You might have differences with Ruto. You might have differences with Matiang'i if he becomes the president. You can have differences with Gachagua if he becomes the president. The seat of the president, you cannot undermine whoever sits at the seat of the presidency. Remember, we taught you the president is the head of state. He's the symbol of national unity, and therefore any plan to harm, to hurt the president is an harm on the sovereignty of the people and of the Republic of Kenya. Section 42, concealment of treason. Concealment of treason. Any person who becomes an accessory after the fact to treason, or knowing that any person intends to commit treason, does not give information thereof with all reasonable dispatch to the Attorney General's administrative officer, magistrate, or officer in charge of a police station, or use other reasonable endeavor to prevent the commissioning of the offense, is guilty of a felony termed misprision of treason and is liable to imprisonment for life. If you get to know there are people planning to overthrow the government of Kenya and you don't report, if you get to know there are people intending to kill the president of the Republic of Kenya and you don't report, you don't disclose. It is your duty to disclose whenever you know that somebody or some people intend to overthrow the government of Kenya, they intend to kill the president of Kenya, they want to detain the president of Kenya. If you are found guilty, that offense is called misprision, and the sentence is an imprisonment for life. Section 43 talks about treasonable felony. A treasonable felony is any person not owing allegiance to the Republic. He is not a citizen of the Republic of Kenya. Every Kenyan citizen, you owe allegiance to the Republic of Kenya, so long as you are a citizen of this country. But we are dealing with people, foreigners, who are not owing an allegiance to the Republic of Kenya, but is in Kenya or elsewhere, commits an act of or combinations of acts which, if it were committed by a person who owed such allegiance, would amount to the offense of treason under this section, is guilty of felony and is liable for imprisonment for life. So foreigners, if they do what we have dealt with the ingredients of an offense, the foreigner shall go in for life. 43A, treachery. If any person who, with intent to help the enemy, does any act which is designed or likely to give assistance to the enemy, or to the interference with the maintenance of public order or the government of Kenya, or to impede the operation of the disciplined forces, or to endanger life, is guilty of a felony and is liable to imprison for life. Anybody who will impede the army from doing its work, the police from securing the country, is guilty of an offense called treachery, and you'll be imprisoned for life if you are found. Section 44 is promoting warlike activities. The promotion of warlike undertaking. Any person who, without lawful authority, carries on or makes preparation for carrying on, or aids or advises the carrying on or preparation for any war or warlike undertaking with, for, or against any person or body or group of persons in Kenya, is guilty of a felony and is liable for imprisonment for life. If you promote warlike activities, you start assembling arrows, shields, spears, small guns, rungus, with an intent of arming a large population to destabilize the country, you are committing an offense of promoting warlike activities. you are undertaking warlike activities. For example, the goons that are walking around here, this political era, are they there armed for the purpose of engaging on warlike activities? They will be arrested. The DCI knows now from court helicopter that that is an offense under section 44, and you'll be jailed for imprisonment for life. How does treason and all these offenses tried? Section 45 says a person cannot be tried for treason or for any of the felonies defined in these sections unless the prosecution is commenced within 2 years after the offense is committed. So if these offenses were committed and 2 years have ended, the government cannot arrest you. So if you did these offenses 2017, you are lucky. The law does not allow the government to arrest you. But if you committed them last year, if you commit them this year, within 2 years, the DPP has power to arrest and order you to be investigated. Number 2, no person charged with the treason or with any such felonies may be convicted except on his own plea of guilty or on the evidence in an open court of 2 witnesses, at the least to one overt act of the kind of treason or felony alleged, or the evidence of one witness to one overt act and one other witness to another overt act of the same kind of treason or felony. What does the law say? Treason cases must be tried in an open court. Why is this? Previously, treason cases were being tried at night. The media, like court helicopter, could not be allowed to cover the treason cases. Now, court helicopter, anybody who will be arrested and be tried for the offense of treason, the law allows court helicopter news to cover it live, plus all other medias. 2, there must be 2 witnesses, over 2 witnesses. One witness cannot be sufficient to convict somebody being charged with the offense of treason. 3, the offense of treason must have been committed within 2 years. Within 2 years. Not 20 years ago, then you are being brought to court over this offense now. Lastly, one can be tried and be convicted on his own plea of guilty. If somebody walks to court and the charge sheet is read of treason and he pleads guilty, then he can be convicted of that offense. 2, it says, if the facts or matters alleged in a charge for any of such felonies amount in law to treason, and if the facts or matters proved at the trial of the person charged amount in law to treason, such person shall not, by reason thereof, be entitled to be acquitted of the felony. But the person tried for the felony shall not afterwards be prosecuted for treason upon the same facts. So the facts and the law and the evidence must be watertight for one to be convicted of the offense of law. Then we have section 46, dissuasion from enlistment. Do you know it's an offense to tell people not to be enlisted into the army? Have you ever known that if you go around telling people not to join the army, you can be arrested and be jailed? What does it say? Any person who willfully dissuades or attempts to dissuade any other person from entering the disciplined forces or the police force is guilty of an offense and is liable to a fine not exceeding 5,000 shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months or to both. So, If you are telling people, young people, not to join the army or the police, be very careful. Be very careful. You cannot tell people, discourage Kenyans from joining the police or from joining the army. Very interesting. That is 46. Here, we are not talking about their exceptions. A father advising the daughter, don't join the police, don't join the army. That is not an offense. A general friend advising another one for the benefit of that. Here we are talking of a mass action to dissuade people. Court Helicopter publishes that it is serious and risky to join the police or the army. It will be bad and it will be arrested. So it is an offense to try to dissuade people from joining the police or joining the army. Section 47, inciting to mutiny. If anybody attempts to seduce any member of the disciplined force or any police officer not to work as a police officer, you go and incite police officers, you incite members of the police, you incite members of the army not to go on duty. The president has said Kenyan police officers are going to Haiti. Then you go telling them, don't go to Haiti. Do you know you are likely to be jailed? Number 2, it says, if you incite any of these people to commit an act of mutiny or to meet to a mutinous act, or to make these people not to work as per directed, you are guilty of a felony and you'll be imprisoned for life. Once the commander of the police, whether it's the Inspector General Police, whether it's the OCS, whether it is the AP commandant, has issued an order to his people, go and arrest if you try to tell them not to comply with that order. That is what is called a mutiny. If a member of the armed forces is told, quick march to Somalia to fight, and he doesn't move, then that is mutiny. A good brother Bramwell asks, what if they say they are not well? There's nothing in the forces of saying that you are not well. You are presumed to be physically fit, and you are fit any other time to be told to go to act. There is no time you are going to say that the place I'm being assigned the duty is risky. You have got to follow the orders. Any form of failure to follow the orders in the army or in the police by the armed forces or the police forces is mutiny. Anybody who will incite them not to follow the orders, they will be arrested and be charged. And what is the offense? Punishment? It is imprisonment for life. Then 48, aiding people to mutiny, inciting sedition or disobedience. If you aid the police to mutiny, if you aid the army to mutiny, it is, you will be arrested and you'll be disciplined. If you are a soldier, you'll be, any member of the disciplined force or any police officer is guilty of a misdemeanor. So if you are a police officer inciting others not to go, if you are a member of the KDF inciting others not to follow orders, that is a misdemeanor. Section 49, inducing desertion. Do you know the army you cannot escape from duty? Do you know in the police force there are people called the deserter? Famous musician Samido was being arrested and being charged for being a deserter. And people were quarreling. How can Samido, a musician, a policeman, be arrested and be charged? Today you know that if you desert If you desert, you will get arrested. We shall be moving to the next episode, that is the Samido episode in section 49. What is mutiny? What is desertion? Wakili Danstan Omari, we will always bring it to you, the law as it is.